If the UK regulator agrees to this takeover, AB Inbev will be able to formally table its offer for SABMiller. The takeover will create the world's largest brewer, commanding 30% of market share across 6 continents. But it seems SABMiller is hesitant to go ahead.
It's not serious. It's just a matter of going through or going over the terms that the SABMiller shareholders will receive from AB Inbev. And it's done in cooperation. I think they're both sitting around a table and making sure that it's very clear as to what the terms of the deal will be.
SABMiller is almost as old as Johannesburg itself, established during the gold rush in 1895. 8 years later, it was the first industrial company to list on the local bourse. Almost a century later, the company moved its primary listing to London and kept its secondary listing on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange.
Back in 1999, when the primary listing moved to London, and since then, in the 16 years that it's been primarily listed in London, you've seen the proportion of the share register held in South Africa dwindle to round about less than 10% today.
But for many, SAB is a homegrown South African company. Losing it to an international group is creating sentimental concern. Should the deal go ahead, there's talk of a listing on the New York Stock Exchange. However, analysts believe there is a strong case for a secondary listing to remain in Johannesburg.
Carlos Brito, the CEO, came out in the week leading up to the deal being signed with SABMiller and told shareholders in this country unequivocally that there would be a secondary listing in Johannesburg. Africa is the big deal in this whole deal, because AB Inbev currently has nothing in Africa other than some third-party distribution.
And with any takeover, there's always concern around job losses. SABMiller employs over 65,000 people across 80 countries in which it operates in. It has 5,000 employees in South Africa alone. There's also thousands of employees at its manufacturing operations across Africa.
I think if there are jobs lost, it won't be at the bottom. It won't be in the manufacturing side. It might be where there's a crossover, for example, in the marketing side or in the legal side or the accounting side.
And things like Stella Artois, Beck's, you hardly see them on the shelves here. Budweiser, you hardly see them here. And I think AB Inbev are going to be very keen to try and promote those brands in this country. So I think that the chances of job creation is far greater than the chance of job destruction in the wake of this merger.
AB Inbev is now waiting for an okay from SABMiller and a thumbs up from the UK regulator. But there may be more hurdles as regulators in other countries the companies operate in state their case. If this deal goes ahead, the combined market capitalization of the two companies will be around $275 billion. Authorities, though, will be looking at whether this takeover will create a brewing monopoly that could put smaller players out of business. Sumitra Nadu, CCTV, Johannesburg.